Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Your key to the week this week is the Moon card. Very reflective this week, very focused as well, but very focused inwardly. I wonder if this is because you're starting to feel this Mars retrograde energy that is coming in. So at the moment, Mars is currently slowing down to go retrograde at the end of this month in your sign, but that slowdown process has already begun. So you may have noticed maybe your energy is not as sharp and zingy as it usually is. Maybe you're a little bit more reflective at this moment in time. It might also suggest, because it's the Moon card, right? So you could really be thinking a lot about the past this week. You might be thinking about old ideas, old pieces of script, old ideologies and philosophies that either don't ring true anymore or things that you'd kind of allowed to fall by the wayside. And that happens for all of us, right? At some point you have like ideas and things that you do, and you know, you were really into them at one point, and then you just kind of slowly but surely let it go. Some of those things could be coming back to the fold this week, or you might find that things from the past that you suddenly remember or that you start to reflect over, they maybe have more weight or more, I want to say like prominence. It's like maybe they're more important or more useful to you now than they were back then. You know, it's like, what? So, you know, dig around in the past. That's your treasure trove this week, all right? Anything that is from the antiquity of your life sorry, sometimes I'm such a dork. You know, like whatever you're digging around into from your past, that is your treasure trove this week. Go through old journals, and I know if you're a Gemini, you've got at least 5. You know, go through old ideas, scrapbooks, you know, your voice notes on your phone, like the notes on your phone. Go through all of that stuff, because that's where you're going to find the treasure this week. With that said, thank you so much for all of you that have already purchased your 2023 Astro Tarot Scopes. They are out there for your purchasing pleasure. This year they are bigger than ever, right? So you're getting your tarot, the astrology aspect of this. You're also getting an astrological cheat sheet about the biggest transits of the year and how they're going to affect your sign. The eclipse overview, which is a portion of that video that I won't be posting anywhere else on any of my platforms. And there's some really interesting stuff there and how you could potentially use it if you decide. That being said, on top of that, you will also get the numerology overview, which a lot of you have already seen because it's here on YouTube, but there's all that and more. If you want to get yours, it's like $4.99 for one, $24.99 for the bundle, and they are all fully downloadable, and the PDFs are printable as well. So if you want to get those, the link in the description is where you can find them. Like I said, for those of you that have already purchased, you have my heart. Thank you so much for all of your support, and thank you for allowing me to sell you things from time to time. For your actions and options, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. For your actions and options, you've got the Justice card, right? So look at this. You are making a decision this week based on old information. That's usually something that I would say, you know, don't make it. This week, I actually think this is the way forward. This is one of those times where your memory banks, like this week, some memory, some old idea, some old experience that you've had is going to give you a direct answer to a quandary that you find yourself in. So there's a decision or a commitment that you need to make this week, and it's like you're readdressing that in some way, shape or form. This could be how you feel about relationships. It could be how you feel about work contracts. It could be about how you feel about working in collaboration with others, which is usually something you guys do very well. But there's something here where it's almost like you're, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like you're looking at something and you're like, wow, okay, how do I deal with this, or what do I think about it? And because you're so deeply reflective, some nugget of wisdom comes out of your past and has you go, yes, this is what I would have done last time if I knew what I know now, right? So it's like your past and your history really are your treasure trove this week. Another way that this could potentially show up is you're unsure about a contractual decision that you're having to make this week, which is possible. Just be mindful. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Four of Swords. This is not a week to share or overshare, right? So your communication sector is like, this week you are stumm, right? And it's not to say that you don't want to talk or there is anything wrong with you. You're deeply, deeply reflective. You're very, very much looking over the past. You could be having conversations with people from the past, potentially with old partners or old business partners for some of you. It could also be that this week it's like, you know what, I just don't want to talk about it at the moment. I just want to feel how I feel, and I want to process it internally before I start sort of spewing it out into the world. For those of you that are studying spewing it, so that was a nice visual, but you get what I mean. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, there's a really strong sense this week that it's almost like you're sitting on something that you've observed. So through the process of your studies, you're looking at something and it's like, wow, this is not what I thought it was. So this could be a realization, but there's a confusion about how you feel about it. And so therefore it's like, you know what, I don't really understand this yet, so I'm just going to say nothing until I feel like I do. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this week, you may not get as much done as you are used to being able to do. You might even have a work colleague and or a superior say like, oh, you know, is everything all right? You seem really subdued or really quiet. I'm not saying use this as a bargaining chip. What I am saying is that observation is going to show you what's out of place that you have currently or previously missed. And I'll say no more on that front. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, for some of you, you're literally retiring services this week. There's something that you're saying, you know what, that's been great. It's done really well up until now, or it served me well up until now, but it's not something that I want to do or to offer anymore. It could be as well, for some of you, there are connections to whatever your last job was. Every business owner, well, 9 out of 10 business owners that work for themselves now will have had a last job, right? I know I do. The last job that I had was five or 6 years ago now. But this could be reconnections with people from that. Whatever they come with, hear them out. Don't do any more than that, unless you want to. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, honestly, the feeling that I get from all of this is it's not about legal matters, it's not about contracts, it's actually about faith. There's something here where you are maybe choosing to redouble your efforts around your spiritual path and or practice. And it's like, you know what, I don't have the oomph that I need right now. What is a source of, you know, energy and power that I've been able to draw from before? And this week it's like through that, again, that reflective energy, maybe you're going back to a spiritual path or practice that once upon a time really supported you. In the love and relations, you have the Justice card. So we have a time sequence here. Whatever is happening now is definitely going to have far-reaching ripples and consequences for your relationships into the future. Whether this is, so if you're single, whatever realizations, understandings and wisdom is making itself known to you at the moment, this is what's forming the foundation or the basis of the next relationship that you're going to have. For those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments and already in that space, I gotta be honest, it kind of feels for me like a lot of you are in the process of saying, is this the right place for me? Is this the right place for my heart? Is this the right connection that I'm in? It's not to say that it isn't, it's just you are questioning it at the moment. Like this week, I feel like this is going to be very heavily on your mind. It looks like also for some of you, your significant other is waiting for important paperwork or documentation. For your money and materials, you have the Queen of Cups, nurturing and nourishing the finances. Potentially a Pisces woman comes in that could be helping or supporting you in some way. With the money side of things, the Queen of Cups can be, it's almost like you're choosing to nurture something. So it's like you're pouring money into something this week because you know that at some point it's going to cash out, or at some point it's going to pay out. You might not be seeing any results this week at all though. So it could just be all like shelling it out but not getting much in return. It could also be as well that more opportunities to make money or to enhance your earning potential comes through the family, the mother, an aunt, you know, somebody of that nature. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Queen of Cups, especially because you've got the Moon card here, this is the waters of the body. So your hormones. It can also be the things that you know you're not supposed to have. I know I'm not supposed to have dairy. Does that mean I'm going to stop eating dairy? Because I've got eczema and asthma, so it's not great for me. But I'm not going to stop eating dairy food. That's not going to happen. Apologies to those of you that are vegans. But yeah, you get my point. This week, though, you could have a really high sensitivity to things that you know you're not supposed to have. So as an example, I know if I get a cold or I have a chest infection or whatever, I don't touch dairy stuff because it's not good for the lungs and all the rest of it. You know, so it's about managing what you have. I haven't had either of those for a long time, apart from the one a few weeks back. Relatively in pretty good health. All right, and when it comes to your home and environment, this is literally you making your home space more comfortable. For a lot of you, this could be like putting in a home office. Maybe you're dedicated, and even if it's, you know, you haven't got space big enough, this could literally be that you carve out a space within the home and say, this is the working sector. Bam. Done. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.